Major Campbell. I am an Anglican priest and an advocate for human rights. I came to discover that serving as an ally called for courageous leadership in relating to the reality that people have on the ground, relate to people's sufferings, hearing people's cries, and understanding the call for God's house to be a house of prayer for all people.
So I come from a faith tradition that holds two almost oppositional beliefs in the dignity and equality of LGBTI persons, while at the same time condemning the sexual expression. And so I find myself in a dilemma, but I choose to say that to hold on to the belief in the dignity and equality as the very basis of my commitment to be an ally for LGBTI persons, because I believe that God created all of us.
That realization of the love of God is realized in people's lives in different contexts. And for me, that was a personal journey as well, to be able to internalize within my church theology.
Então, a homossexualidade também está no grupo dos marginalizados. Isso porque nós ainda não compreendemos que a orientação sexual é individualizada. É que saibamos conviver com as revelações que Deus faz à humanidade. Já temos um programa desde o ano antepassado, de 2020. Desde 2020, estamos a trabalhar com os líderes máximos das igrejas, a sensibilizar na compreensão e no entendimento de que na sociedade somos diferentes. Há pessoas de orientação diferentes que estão dentro das nossas igrejas.
At 10, I decided I wanted to grow up to be a Bible teacher, and I have been teaching the Bible for 33 years now. The Bible is a wellspring of diversity. Dictators and despots have used it to perpetuate their regimes. Liberation movements have used it to ground their causes. Churches have used it to disempower, dehumanize, and demonize people of color, women, indigenous peoples, the LGBTI+ communities, people living with HIV and AIDS, PWDs, and many more. The disempowered and the demonized have used it to rise above their oppression.
Eu sou sacerdote de Umbanda, uma religião afro-brasileira. O processo de percepção de um aliado à comunidade LGBTQIA+, nasce através da compreensão daquilo que costuma se intitular letramento racial. Ao acessar o entendimento de raça, eu me descobri como um homem negro e, inevitavelmente, fez com que eu acessasse outros entendimentos como gênero e classe. Algo próximo daquilo que a estadunidense Kimberly Crenshaw nomeia por interseccionalidade estrutural. É importante que se diga que o movimento racial negro e suas percepções individuais no Brasil ocorrem de uma forma ímpar, diferente de qualquer outro lugar no mundo em virtude do massivo impacto da colonização. Isso faz com que nós negros, ao longo dos anos, tenhamos que descobrir a nossa identidade racial e a sociedade em que ela se encontra inserida.
Of course, this was a very difficult time, physical phase, because I faced a lot of hate and I lost a lot of friends in the process. I used to take pride in saying that I have academic freedom and I will use it to good use. Pastors should ask, how can we share your pain, joy, and hope? How can we carry once another's burdens and fulfill the law of Christ? And that is found in Galatians chapter 6 verse 2. So my argument is that pastor is someone who's supposed to be able to be moved by the pain of the other and be able to share that pain and instill hope and joy in the other person. Also has to be a forum where we will allow the LGBTIQ plus community to tell their stories because they know themselves much better. So I think through listening to their narrative, their life stories, we can know more about them. So generally information gap has to be bridged.
For me, the crux of the matter, if we recognize that at the heart of particularly the Christian faith is love, and particularly love and a sense of justice and righteousness for those who are the least among us. This means that we are called to engage and and have not just solidarity, but work to support and care for those who are the marginalized in our community.
In a subtle way, that phrase which says, love the sinner, hate the sin, already sends a very homophobic message that LGBTI people are sinners and that the activity is sin. Who amongst us is not a sinner? And so as a fearless ally, we need to challenge every statement that others, LGBTI people, whether it's to say they or whether it is condescending, we need to say no. And that's what it means to be a fearless ally. It means that within our churches, amongst our Christian friends, amongst our families, we stand in the privacy of our houses and our churches. We stand and we say no.
But I think one of the key things that we can do is really to try and have very sustained dialogues, and this is what's been done on a number of issues. Very quiet, sustained dialogues to help the leaders understand, because if you can get that depth of understanding with a leader, with a faith leader, community leader, and if you get people who become true allies, then they will remain allies even when it becomes difficult.
And then Jesus saying, love your neighbor as yourself. That's very intimate, very intimate. How can you sort of put away one's sexuality or identity away? And what love is that? Okay. So it's to accept each other in each other's fullness as God has placed them. And that's where the beauty of humanity is.
There's a lot of work ahead of us. What is the bottom line? We start where people are and build on what they have. Again, it's about the gift of difference. If we are able to persuade and convince communities to celebrate diversity, plurality, and difference, then together, we would be able to celebrate concrete experiences and expressions of such.
Loving one another does not necessarily mean that we agree on everything or we see each other's point in every way. No. But instead, we agree that in spite of our differences, we all may continue to love. We all may continue to live in such a way that we are not each other's judge, but instead we are each other's helper.